Next point counterpoint debate segment here with Luke Anderson and Neil Ghosh. And by drawing there in the break, Luke was drawn first.
Okay.
So again, you guys will go back and forth for 5 minutes, try and make your case, impress the judges. They will decide a winner. That's worth 5 points, but you want to make sure that you keep it engaging for the listeners as well. Your point of discussion: the Trailblazers are no better than a first-round playoff exit team. The Trailblazers are no better than a first-round playoff exit team. Luke, you can pick if you want to argue for or against that.
I will go for the Trailblazers are no better than a first-round exit.
Neil will take the opposite position. 5 minutes are on the clock, and we'll turn it over to you guys.
All right, everybody, welcome back to 1080 The Fan. Luke here with Neil. We are talking Trailblazers. I am of the point of view that the Blazers are having a great year, but they make the playoffs. They're one and done. I don't think they're getting past it.
I think you're out of your mind with that opinion. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, from what I've seen, if you've watched the same games, I'm not really sure, but they're playing at a much higher level than they have in the last several years. This is the Trailblazers team that can take it further than you think they can.
You take their first 25 games out of the mix, they're a 500 team. 500 teams make the playoffs just barely. They exit early. What matchup do you think favors the Blazers in the first round?
Well, here's the thing. Luckily for them, we don't take the first 25 games out of the season. That was the first quarter of the season. We got to see exactly what they're capable of. And as the season has progressed, we've seen them go through some injuries, through some hardship. We've seen the bench do a little bit better than we thought they were going to. I think this team has the depth and the coaching that they can go past the first round for sure.
Totally disagree. The first 25 games, they set the bar high when teams started showing up for the games because they weren't the same old Trailblazers. They started winning at a 50-50 clip. You have to maintain it. They need to go out and get some good wins and kind of prove that they are better than what they've been. Last year, they didn't even make the playoffs. They have a very similar roster, got a lot of young guys, and there's teams out there with more fire.
They have a lot of young guys, but their young guys have way exceeded the expectations placed on them. Damian Lillard, Rookie of the Year last year. This year, obviously an All-Star. I mean, our young guys have way more talent than you're giving them credit for. CJ McCollum was not expected to be as much of a contributor as he has been, and some of his minutes have been cut into in the last couple weeks. But he was able to show that he's capable when he's on the floor. He's able to do something of quality off of the bench.
If you have a team that plays defense for 3 quarters, they're not going to win a whole lot of games in the playoffs. They need to come out and prove that they are a team. Set the tempo of the game. Don't rely on shooting. Don't rely on last-minute comebacks. Nick Batum is one of these guys that every time you see him, he looks like he could be the greatest player in the league for a 5-minute stretch here, 5-minute stretch there, and then the rest of the time he plays like a Frenchman. We need something better.
Here's the thing, though. Nick Batum hasn't waved any white flags yet, and the reality is we've seen this team be very good. We've seen Nick Batum play 90 feet of defense. I mean, we've seen him be great. So we know that the capability is there. The ceiling is not so far away that our team can't exceed those expectations and take it into the second round or beyond.
I don't know. They just allow too many runs. They play a 30 minutes of the game as hard as they can, and then the rest of the time they're not doing anything. Their bench doesn't contribute enough. I mean, I think it was mentioned earlier tonight, but Myers Leonard comes out, just give us 5 fouls a night. Go out there and play the hardest defense you can. Be what you are. You're a young, big man. We don't need you to score. Go out there, look pretty, and foul some people. That's all I want.
The thing is that Myers Leonard aside, our team can score, and that's the thing that you need to have in a long series. When you're playing 6-7 games, you have enough time to overcome some of these situations where your shooters might not be hot every night, but they have 7 games to get where they need to be and start draining buckets. They're one of the top offenses in the league this year.
Yeah, but they rely too much on their shooting. They don't get easy buckets. You got to get transition buckets. You got to have somebody that runs the floor end to end. They sit back, they wait for Wesley to make 15 threes, and then all of a sudden they look great. But everybody looks great when you make shots.
I would say that we have the guard play necessary to really run the floor on this team. I think it's there.
I don't know.
We don't have a true big, and that's really the biggest problem we have. Myers Leonard, obviously, as you mentioned, is not good enough, but we have LaMarcus Aldridge, who is 6'11". He's not an insignificant presence down low when he wants to be. That's not how he plays most of the time, but if he needed to match up that way, he could.
You got Robin Lopez that you didn't have last year. He's down there. He's got fantastic hair, plays really hard. He plays, I would say, the hardest defense on the team. But at the same time, when you rotate him out, their presence disappears inside. LaMarcus would rather take an 18-foot jumper than he would to go in and get some tough baskets in the paint. If you could wear down another team's front line with all of your bigs, 5 fouls from Freeland, 5 fouls from Myers-Leonard. You have Rolo go out there and play as hard as he does at the end of the game, the whole game. I mean, you got a winning combination, but you don't have it. There's no fire. Nobody's lit them up and gone out and played a 60-minute game.
The thing is, you still have Sacha Rob putting in 12 and 10 was all you need, really. You just need some solid minutes from a decent big guy who can give you some defense down low. What you mentioned about LaMarcus taking 18-footers, the good news is he has one of the best mid-range jumpers in the game. He's an all-star for a reason. The guy shoots an absolutely undefendable shot that arcs over everybody. It's not the most ideal way to score points, but it works for him.
I just don't think there's a good matchup. You catch Golden State into a shootout, you lose. That's all I'm saying. They're done.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think some of the matchups could benefit. Oh. I didn't see the warning.
Oh, sorry. I should have tried to give you.
Well done, fellas. Well, that's good. In this, if you can keep it going and keep going, that's okay. Anna Lee just wanted to blow the whistle once, though. I know she did. She was waiting for that. Let's get our thoughts from our judges. We'll start with Brandon Sprague. Who do you think won the debate on the Blazers?
Yeah, that's a tough one because in this kind of debate, it's really not so much maybe personality. It's more bringing me facts. Tell me why your side of the argument is better than the other one. And I really didn't get that from either. You guys made good points for rotation and what players are doing, but you didn't talk about that they're 25th in total defense in the NBA. You didn't talk about what happens if they do or do not have home court advantage in the playoffs, which is huge for them. I'll give the slight advantage to Luke just because I feel in my heart I probably don't think they're going to win the first round. But overall, you guys could have done a little better presenting more facts. You really just gave me your opinion on some of the players. That's all I got from that.
Jeff Austin, how do you think it went from a listener standpoint?
Well, the pacing was good. You guys had a good back and forth. You were listening to each other, which I thought was good. One thing, Neil, don't forget, you don't want to have a lot of the our and we as an our team and we. When you're in the media, you really have to try to stay objective, even though the vast majority of your fans will maybe feel like you do and be Blazers fans. It's very important to maintain that fine line so that you have credibility with all of the audience, as much as you can anyway. But no, I thought the pacing was good, but I agree. I thought we were a little bit thin on the facts. Obviously, when you get a chance to prepare a segment, you have a chance to do more research. That would definitely be my advice to both of you in this one.
Let's get a thought from Sook.
Hello. I think that's really hard because you guys didn't. I mean, you're not covering the Blazers. I mean, Sprague, that's what he does for a job. So Sprague is going to know about the 25th ranked defense. If you're not following the Blazers on a day-to-day basis and you're a casual fan, I think it's hard to have that in-depth knowledge to kind of go back and forth. So I give you guys a pass on that. I think that's tough. If you asked me to debate, the Portland Timbers getting out of the first round of the MLS playoffs, I do this for a living and I'd still be screwed. So I'll give you a pass on that. I thought the energy was good. I think you both have personality, and I think you guys are both in the mix, and I think it's going to come down to the monologue. I don't think either one of you did anything to hurt yourselves in that. I thought you guys both had a good showing, and maybe the difference, I think you guys are right there, the difference is going to be that monologue. So you have time to prepare that. There's no more excuses for that one. That one should be in your hip pocket. So you guys are right there in the mix, and now it's up for one of you to reach out and grab it.
Content delivery, formatics, intangibles. Once again, Lindsay and Annalee are watching the clock. They'll give you a 10-second warning to wrap it up, and that'll be it. So it's your last time to impress our judges. Neil Ghosh, you have 4 minutes.
Alrighty, well, I was given the opportunity a few weeks ago, courtesy of the Wheel of Grab Ass, to talk about LeBron James. And I gave a lot of thought about whether or not I wanted to talk about him again, because I've already discussed him briefly once. But in light of what he's doing, he's basically lighting the basketball world on fire and not caring who's behind him. We got to talk about this, man. This is a huge, huge thing. And the thing is, it's not just a single game performance thing. It's what he's doing at this point in his career and the trajectory that he's on for how he might finish his career. LeBron is basically, he is clearly going to be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, assuming that he stays healthy, that he finishes a normal number of years in his career, and he continues on the pace that he's going. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. He put up 61 points on the hapless Charlotte Bobcats on Monday night. And it was I mean, he did whatever he wanted. He was tearing them apart. At one point, he hit 8 straight three-pointers. The guy was doing anything and everything that he wanted to do. And the thing that was most impressive about the performance, aside from the fact that it was well-rounded, because he had 7 assists and 5 boards too, he also did it at 66% shooting from the field. That level of efficiency is ridiculous. That's unheard of. Now, here's the thing. When you talk about the greatest of all time, everybody is the first to defend Michael Jordan. Of course, obviously, it comes up. He's naturally the presumptive king to the crown. And the reason that I say LeBron's going to best him by the end of his career is that MJ, in his best, most efficient shooting season, he shot 53.9%. LeBron, over the past 5 seasons, has not shot worse than 50%. Sink your mind on that for a second. 50% for 5 years straight. Last year, he shot 56.5%. This year, he's on pace at 58.2%. That's outrageous. For a guy who doesn't play center, who is playing the field, that is a ridiculous level of efficiency that he is playing at. He already has 4 league MVPs, and he's the favorite potentially to win this one too this year. That'll give him 5. That ties Michael Jordan. He has 2 back-to-back championships and back-to-back finals MVPs. He is the favorite again to win this year and potentially take home another finals MVP trophy. If he does that and he wins league MVP as well, which he's favored for, he'll be the first player in NBA history to three-peat titles, league MVP, and finals MVP. First player ever. He has a level of sustained greatness. The last 5 years, it started at 50% shooting, then went to 51, then 53, then 55.5, and now he's at 58. That means that he is eliminating all of the flaws in his game and improving almost 2% efficiency year over year. That's ridiculous. And that's the thing that I alluded to the other week talking about combine players going to the NFL. The thing that sets them apart is the same thing that sets LeBron apart. He's willing to be a student of the game and really work on all of the flaws in his game and become better. He's willing to find the things that he still has weaknesses with and eliminate them completely. He's the most complete player that I have ever watched play. And that's why he's definitely going to be the best. He's only played, this is his 11th season right now. He has arguably another 5 to 8 seasons left in him, probably. I'm projecting without injury. Obviously, he could get hurt tomorrow. The whole picture changes. We don't know that. But if he plays an average length of a successful pro, he's going to smash every single one of these records. It's not even close. I mean, it's really not even close. What he's been able to do, sustain through his entire career from start to finish, is really incredible. So what I'd like to see from him is to keep progressing at the pace that he's progressing. He needs to keep getting better. His free throws need work. But if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be the greatest of all time, and there won't even be a conversation later.
Thank you very much, Neil. Neil's final monologue here as he makes his case to get to the final 2. Let's talk to Ryan Cooley, see what he thinks of Neil Ghosh, not just with this, but his entire performance tonight.
Well, Neil, one thing that when we very first started talking about this competition was when we get down to the end, when we give you guys more time, how would you fill it? And I felt like a little bit at the end you were trying to more filibuster and fill time versus hit me with some really strong opinions. A lot of numbers in there, and I would have wanted a little bit more of your opinion on it. We all know he's killing it. We all know he's ridiculous. You drop ridiculous on us a little too much for my taste. Again, I'm nitpicking though, man. You're strong overall. You've been someone that surprised me. When we got down to the end, I was like, well, who knows what Neil's got? You've shown us, and you deserve to be in the Final Four. So strong job.
All right, Dusty Harry, you think Neil's got what it takes to join us in studio next week?
I do. I thought that the way you went about that, and you had a lot of good points to back it up, what you were trying to convey. The only thing that you had the crutch, and I'm with Ryan with it was using ridiculous a little bit too much. I know that you have an expansive vocabulary and you can go other places, but I did like the comparisons to the stats with Michael Jordan, but I think that there was something more to be had in that, and it was the personality of Neil. And I'm totally with Ryan on that one. With that said, though, I thought you laid out a very good case for LeBron James, and it was engaging.
A final thought from your coach, Suk.
I thought it was good. I would like to see a little more passion, a little more fire. Again, when you have time to prepare this, I would have liked to have seen it end a little stronger. You've done well today. All 3 segments, I don't think any of them were bad. But as I said, I don't know if not being bad is going to get you through. I think it's going to be very close. And that's the only thing I wish your final kind of impression that you left today would have been a little bit stronger. It was good. I wanted to see great. I think you have it in you. If you make it through to the next round, continue to improve and continue to get better. And we'll see what happens. I think you're going to be right there, but I don't think there's any guarantees. This was the one that we really wanted to see, and it was C plus B at kind of range instead of that A that was going to make it impossible to not have you in the final 2.
Neil, a final thought. You've been here through the entire. What's the experience been like for you?
This has been a ton of fun, and seeing the level of talent that's out there for this type of job is really incredible. I mean, the other contestants in this competition are fantastic. It's been awesome to see that. So, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Obviously, hopefully it works out for me. Hopefully I'll still be in this next week, but I won't feel bad if it doesn't happen because of the other guys that I'm going up against. I know how good they are.
Well done. You've done a great job throughout, so congratulations on that, and you can relax for the rest of the evening. We'll send it back over to Travis Demers.